All right, Congressman Matt Gaetz joins me now. Sir, good to have you back on the show. We played the great moment from you reading that Hunter Biden tweet, or the text message, I'm sorry, to Zhao, demanding the money earlier in the show. 9 days later, the Bidens got $5 million from the Chinese, and nobody seems to really want to know why at the FBI, and yet Chris Wray says they're not protecting the Bidens.
I think there's an obvious reason why. No one ever pays a bribe without getting something in return for it. And in the opening moments of Joe Biden's administration, they dissolved the China initiative that President Trump had established at the Department of Justice to specifically target the areas of Chinese influence, and where they were stealing our trade secrets and infiltrating our universities and trying to buy off our politicians, or worse. So the Chinese have done very well in the Biden administration, and it might just be because they had this extensive web of financial transactions that predated the presidency.
Yeah, they had the Biden White House working for their benefit, or the Biden family working for their benefit. I'm trying to figure out in my head the Chris Wray situation, because you know that he can blatantly see how politicized his FBI is, the entire DOJ is, the entire government really is. But it seems he thinks that fixing it is more dangerous than leaving it the way it is, because to fix it, you'd have to admit that it's broken. And I feel like establishment Washington just can't allow that to happen.
For more than a decade, I've heard Christopher Wray come before the Congress to say, you know, gosh, that was the old FBI, but I've really turned things around. The reality is, under Christopher Wray's leadership, the FBI has conducted over 1 million illegal searches. During the time period that was investigated, they were conducting 38 illegal searches an hour. And not just for crime stuff. They were doing creepy, weird things like looking up their ex-girlfriends and engaging in inappropriate personal behavior with queries of data that include so many Americans dragnetted into this federal system that we have to get rid of. So the question is, after this hearing, what next? What are the big fights where we can operationalize what we've learned? They are twofold. First, we have to abolish these authorities that the FBI has to engage in this type of spying and then utilization of that information to target Americans. And the second thing is that we have to cut the money off. We cannot continue to feed this organization that has been victim of political capture with a new $325 million headquarters in the Washington, D.C. area, or increased funding for some of their woke initiatives. And if we do that, if we constrain the money, then I think we've got the opportunity to drive reforms and perhaps even save the FBI.
But do you think he looks at it and in his heart of hearts knows there's obviously a problem here, but is it just a situation where he's like, you can't fix this, because if you do, you're gonna invite in all of this suspicion of the government from the people, and it's almost like we have to just act like everything's fine and they're crazy and just kind of gaslight people.
Yeah, it's funny, if you push for change, then they say you're at fault for discrediting the FBI. They have a weird way of saying that when they break the law, the real problem are their critics and those who expose them for their unlawful behavior. And it's funny, like, when someone lies to the FBI, they go to prison. I mean, these guys honey trapped George Papadopoulos and then threw that guy in jail. Meanwhile, when they lie, when they misrepresent things, it's just normal course of business in the federal bureaucracy. There's a specific appropriation tool that we fought hard for in January that would allow us to zero out the salary of any bureaucrat. I think the FBI director should be at the top of that list, because instead of acknowledging the problem, like you said, and working through it, he's become an apologist for some of the most corrupt enterprises ongoing at the FBI today.
Are they going to get their new headquarters?
I don't think they should. And if they do, blame Republicans, because we're in a position to be able to stop it. I'm going to fight hard every day to make sure we do stop it. And if Republicans are willing to do that, then they don't understand the actual fight we are in.
Congressman Gaetz, good to see you, sir. Thank you so much.